Hey everyone, it's Chris Rydell and Lonnie Stevenson. We're here today to share with you the tech tip from Wednesday's MLS meeting. For those of you who were there, you've already got this information. We were planning on putting this up here for you so you could refer back to it, or if you missed the MLS meeting and like to know more about the latest tech tip, here it is. We talked about QR codes and what they had to do with you.
Okay, so with that, let's get started and maybe start with a little background on just what the heck QR codes are. They have not really been around that long. 1994, a subsidiary of Toyota called Denso Wave developed QR codes, and it was really a way for them to keep track of their vehicles during production, where they could get a little bit more information about the vehicle as it was being produced. So with that, these QR codes came to be. You know, they used to have the barcodes, and that's fine, and we still see those on products today, but they just don't have as much information available to you on a barcode as you do as a QR code. And barcodes are one-dimensional, where QR codes are two-dimensional.
And what that means is barcodes basically only contain a number. So that number could be a product number, and then you could have a database in your computer that you could look up that product number to find out more information about it. What's different about QR codes is the information that you need is all included on that QR code, which before you could not do.
So this is what one of those QR codes looks like, in case you just weren't quite sure. Uh, this is a QR code. Now, sometimes people think a QR code is something else. There's another product out there called Microsoft Tags, and they're a little bit different than QR codes. They were developed actually by Microsoft, and where QR codes were basically black and white, these Microsoft Tags were the first to develop and start incorporating colors. So click the slide here, and that's a QR, or that's a Microsoft tag. So you can see, going back to the QR codes, just the differences that there was. Now the big debate becomes, okay, so which one is better, a QR code or a Microsoft tag? Well, QR codes are a open source. That means that there are several different applications out there that you can download onto your smartphone to capture and read a QR code. Microsoft tags are a closed source. That means you've got to have there's one program out there by Microsoft itself in which you can read a Microsoft tag. Now, QR codes and Microsoft tags, and I'm going to date myself here a little bit. If you kind of remember the good old days when we had VCRs coming out and they had Betamax and VHS. We had two entirely different formats, but they were really played the same way. Betamax, if you remember, was the higher quality video, but it didn't hold as much. And with that, it just kind of started losing its grip. You used to go to the video store and you had a beta section and you had a VHS section. And kind of like today, where, with the DVDs, you used to be able to go and you had to look if you want the widescreen or the full screen version of a movie. QR codes are kind of gaining in popularity. They're really becoming more popular. The tags were had a little bit more design to them, and you could incorporate them a little bit better with colors in that and customization. But QR codes are really coming to the forefront with some really killer designs. For an example, this is Microsoft Tags, and they've developed the Pillsbury one here is kind of a basic, but in the upper right hand corner is a Microsoft Tag, and this is how they have used to promote a book. And in the bottom right hand corner is an Aero and Space Nautics tag. Now QR codes, this is some of the development that they're going through as far as becoming a little bit more design friendly. As you can see, they're really starting to incorporate, and you can even start using colors now within the QR codes. Some more applications that you're seeing these used is movie posters, where you can view a trailer of a movie. As I was at the theater the other night, there were several movie posters up in the lobby area, and you could pull and grab the preview of all the different movies right on your smartphone. Um, so then it really becomes, well, who's using these things, or who should use them? Well, really anybody can use these things. You, your customers, your business-to-business partners, your professional partners like your insurance agents, your best friend Lonnie the lender, your best friend Chris the title and escrow person, or home inspector, or pest control people. There's really a incredible amount of opportunity to use these QR codes in our everyday life.
And people, are using them. I mean, it's new to a lot of us, but there are a lot of technological people out there that have been using these for a while. So you bet you that your customers know it. A lot of your customers that are techie know what they are. So you want to get you don't want to be behind the curve here. You want to get to know about these and start to use them.
You know, the benefit of the QR codes is going to be is I don't know about you guys, but everywhere I go, I seem to have my phone with me. I don't go even to the restroom. I have my phone in my pocket with me. But QR codes, if there was an advertisement in the bathroom on one of the walls and it had a QR code, I could capture that information. Whereas if it was a website or a phone number, I don't take a pen and paper to me to the restroom to write down phone numbers. So that, as crazy as it sounds, we have our phones with us. They're a part of our lives. They're almost an extension of ourselves. So it really boils down to we're trying to get to our consumers, to our customers that want immediate access to information. So how can we better do that than having QR codes in places to transfer information to them? And really, at the end of the day, they're cool. When do you want to use them? Well, you want to use them to share information. So if I wanted to get information on one of my listings or information about me, a QR code is a great way to do it. It's going to help you become and utilize a lot of the social media that's available today. When you use QR codes, you got to have a call to action. What do you want people to do when they access the information on your QR code? And there's a couple of secret ways, ninja ways, in which you can increase SEO is search engine optimization. If you're referring back to like a website or a blog or something like that, and you're really looking for some SEO.
So, what do you need to get started? For you, you need a code generator, which is something that creates these codes from the information that you have. And we don't really have time to go into specifics on how they are. We can give you a couple different websites. Lonnie, why don't you tell us a couple of websites that they can use?
The biggie is a website called qrstuff.com. There's a place to just do basic QR code generating. Another one is Likeify is another site. And if you really want to get into that, get with Chris or I. We've got a whole class on QR codes and really get into the meat and potatoes of putting a QR code together.
The other thing that you will need, and also your consumer or partner will need, is a scanner on their phone. So depending on what phone they have, if you're on an Android, you're going to have to go to their app store. Actually, they call it the Android market. On your iPhone, you'll go to your app store. On your BlackBerry, you'll go to your BlackBerry store, and you'll get most of them are free. You'll get a free scanner that will allow you to actually read the QR codes and or the Microsoft tags. Another thing that you can do to build a relationship, with a customer that you have, if you're sitting in front of someone and they notice your QR code and ask you about it, you can tell them, about it. You have a smartphone. Well, here, let's see your smartphone. Let me show you what they are. You can show them. You can suggest the scanner app. Tell them how to download it. Help them do their first scan and watch them, be impressed. And it's just another way to build some rapport with your clients.
So the big idea then is, or the big talk is where do I put them? We actually, in our full class, go over 60 different ideas on how to get started. In the interest of time, we're just going to go over a couple with you.
The ones that we're going to show you today are the ones that are specific to the real estate business, although the other 40 or so that we do have, realtors definitely want to know about, but we're just going to show you the basics today.
So where do you want to put it? Well, how about like on your open house signs? Or if you're doing like an open house tour and creating a map, you could have QR codes for all the different properties that are within the tour. We're also starting to see them a lot on for sale signs, either in riders or on the signs themselves. It's just a great way to convey information. And if you are currently using brochures or brochure holders on your signs, this is a way of getting away from that having to stock the flyer boxes if there's a QR code that people can download the flyer and have it on their phone right away.
Not to mention, if you think about this application, say you have a flyer, and on that flyer is a QR code, and the QR code takes them to your virtual tour. A client can literally pull up to the house, look at your flyer, while they're sitting in their car, scan the QR code, and take a virtual tour of the house without having to do anything but sit there and watch, which is a pretty impressive thing for them to be able to do on the fly.
In New York, on the building permits, they're able to put, the people that are doing the work are able to put some information on the building permits. In this case, is if somebody is doing renovation work, they can put a QR code advertising their business. And we know how neighbors are always nosy about stuff going on around houses. Well, if you have a restoration company or a business that goes in and does remodels, and it's work that needs permits, that permits needs to be put in a prominent place. Well, if you could put a QR code on that permit advertising your business, that'd be an awesome way to promote your business. And another really cool way is if you're out on MLS tour, instead of having a sign-in sheet or having to leave business cards, what if there's a little registration link and a QR code that when you scanned it, they would sign you in automatically? That would be cool. This is a killer idea. I love this idea. When we're selling houses, we always want to stay in contact with the customers that are purchasing the home. And a lot of time it's difficult how to do it, or we're always struggling with ideas. What about if we went and got the owner's manuals for all the appliances inside that home, and instead of just giving them a hard copy of the manual, if we found out where it's at online, got a link to that online manual, and then created a QR code that we could create a sticker and put on the side of the appliance with a little note, hey, courtesy of your favorite real estate agent, don't forget on your next buy, contact me at, here's your owner's manual for this particular appliance. I love this idea.
Yeah, forever the next people in the house are going to have your information at their fingertips whenever they look at any one of their appliances.
Again, sign writers, anywhere that you're advertising a property. In this particular instance, they have the web address for the virtual tour, but they also have the QR code taking it too, so they're covering it in both different ways. I've seen some real estate agents that are putting together business cards specific to listings, and although we don't want to replace the picture of the property itself, on the back of the business card would be a really great way to put a QR code. Or if it's your own business card, you could have a QR code that took to a video where you were going and maybe did like a little intro. And of course, in our print advertising, another outstanding way of putting QR codes to use. So with that, we covered the basics. There's more we know, but this is just to give you a little bit of an appetite.
Thanks a lot, guys. And remember, I'm Chris Rydell with Chicago Title, and this is Lonnie Stevenson with Evergreen Home Loans, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks.
I thought I was Chris.
No, I'm Chris.
Oh. I'm Lonnie?